I mean, because buying one single family rental a year may be the easy route for you and I. For that person, it's the right fit. And then for somebody else, that's crazy. Why would you buy a home, rent it out to tenants? You're opening yourself up to all this liability.
Sure.
You're much, much safer just putting your money in a CD and letting it sit there for 10 years and earn, 0.25% interest on it.
Sure.
Got my partner Matt Teifke here with me this morning.
Morning, everybody. Friday morning, Austin, Texas. We're excited. Always pumped up. Enjoy doing these. We had our vlog come out today, and we're going to do another one today. So, great day, baby.
Yeah, it's a good day. Every Friday we release our vlog, and hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Yeah. I enjoy watching them. I'm always excited to see what Andrew puts on them. I saw some of it. I need to go rewatch it. But I enjoy it.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. I enjoy watching them as well. It's cool to kind of see it from a different perspective.
Yeah. Is it weird watching your own videos? Like, I obsess over these things, and I know that I've typed in TRE homes or TRE on Google probably 1 million times. And I'm like, am I like looking at this too much? Do you ever feel like that, or just?
No, I mean, I watch it for many reasons.
Yeah.
I like to track it. I like to see what it's doing. I like to see which ones are doing better than others. I like to see how many subscribers we got.
I do too. I like to, every time I watch it, I'm like, how could I be better? What could I do different? Is this enjoyable? Is this providing enough value? And then the vlogs, obviously, we don't know what they're going to look like. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. What was your question? Is it weird?
Yeah, I was just like, man, I'm like, am I worried too much about looking into this, or do I just need to like not even look at it and just get to work? But like it's like you said. I mean, I'm looking at it because I care about it, and I want it to just, I want to be better and have ideas with it and everything.
It's a product we're putting out, and I want it to look a certain way, and I like to make sure that it does look good when we put it out.
Yeah, me too. You're right.
So. It's not weird to me. I mean, it'd be the same thing as if we were putting anything out there.
Sure.
I want it to be.
I think I just obsess over it. I'm like, do we have any more reviews? Do we have more subscribers? I'm just always looking at it, and I don't know, man. Just thinking out loud.
Well, today we want to talk about. I don't know the best way to segue into that, but today we want to talk about.
It doesn't matter.
How to get started, right? So how to get started as a real estate investor, maybe real estate agent, learning more about real estate. If you're in a full-time job right now, maybe you're in college, maybe you got laid off during COVID, no matter where you're at in life, or in your career or wherever you may be, getting started in your real estate journey.
Yeah, man. And what's interesting to me is that I believe there's no one way to do it, and probably no one way to do most things in life. And it's interesting because I have people reach out to me and I try to give them advice, and it's like I try to play devil's advocate and play all sides and just throw out all ideas and then let them pick their own decision. But then I have my path. It's like, this is what I did. This is what I see that works. But I know that doesn't work for everybody. And it's hard to when I've been doing it for so long and so passionate about it, it's hard to like keep me from telling them to do exactly what I did, because it worked and it's working. But everyone has a different strategy.
I'm fairly hesitant to tell people to do exactly what I did or exactly what we're doing. I always like to say, for example, I probably say this a few times every day because someone's always asking us, how do I do this? Should I do this instead of that? And really it ultimately depends on their goals, right? their goals may be 100% different than ours. I was talking to someone yesterday where we were talking about the differences between single-family rentals and multifamily. And I told him, I said, for me personally, I'd be fine if I never bought another single-family rental ever again, unless, Kat wants to go buy a house and fix it up and live in it and flip it, which she does. And so that's probably the only reason I will ever buy another single-family home.
Does part of that come from Grant Cardone mindset?
A little bit, but also experience too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our single-family rentals, don't do amazing or anything. We got really good deals, but what really attracts me to multifamily is everything that I've learned about it, right? So I like walking into more equity. Okay, single-family rental, we may walk into 50, 60 grand in equity. On our 8-plex, we walked into 200K in equity. In that, I also like being able to control the value of the real estate. It's not based on the comparables around it. It's based on the income that it generates.
Mm-hmm.
So I like being able to control that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like that, when someone is going to be buying an apartment complex or one of our multifamily buildings, you're getting most of the time a more serious buyer, right? They know what they're looking for. They know why they're buying it. They know what they can do with it. They've got the cash. It's not based on, will this be a good neighborhood for my kids?
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the asset that produces income.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and there's a lot of thoughts that I have, and just so we're clear with everyone, we have, I don't know how many single family?
You and I have 3. I don't know how many you have.
Okay, we have 3 single family homes together, and we don't pull money out of them every month. We don't even have the ability to, but they kind of sustain themselves for the most part. And there's a couple of thoughts I have. I agree 100% with you. And the tricky thing is Austin is such a competitive market that it's so different than a lot of other places in Texas and around the country that it's hard. It's very hard here. And so my whole philosophy is look at everything. Anytime you can find something below what someone else would pay for it, you should probably look at it, try to wholesale it, try to buy it, and have a long-term approach with it. And multifamily, I agree with you with just that basic statement, but in Austin, Texas, it's very, very hard. I have been looking, and you have too, for a long time, and we got this 8-plex, and it's awesome, and we did do well on it. But in that same time, we were able to get, I was able to get 10 houses or so. And so there's just that trade-off of, like, being in this market, everybody wants to buy multifamily. Everybody also can pay a cap rate on it, right? And most sellers are pretty sophisticated. Like, they pretty much – there's always exceptions, but there's a lot more exceptions with single family when you can find value more frequently, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but, it's just as hard to find a single-family rental that will outperform in Austin, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
An apartment complex. And it's just as hard to get a loan on a single-family rental as it is to buy an apartment complex. Probably easier to get it on an apartment complex.
Probably.
And so, sure, and that's why I told him, I said, this is just me. There's a lot of people that do extremely well on single-family rentals, right? And they own many.
Sure.
Your mom being one, right? It's just, for me, I honestly don't want our single-family rentals. I'd rather sell them all right now, take all that cash, and go buy
something else. Yeah, I agree. It's just like we just got to find those opportunities. And the way I look at it is building a balance sheet. Like, I've been able to build something that I can give to a banker that shows, like, hey, I've got something backing what I'm trying to do, plus I've got the experience, plus I have the business. That's what led for us to be able to buy the 8-plex. And so there's that aspect that's huge. It's easy to go buy 4 single-family, $250,000 houses and now have $1 million in assets on your name, right? And then that looks a lot better than you got nothing and you just go and you're like, I want to buy this, 20-unit apartment complex. So and that's part of it, is it's a build up to be able to take those things down.
Well, again, depends on your approach. I would say that it's just as easy to go buy a duplex or a quadplex as it is to go buy 4 single-family rentals.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, and it's matter of fact, it's probably easier.
But in my opinion, and there's always exceptions, right? But buying a duplex or a fourplex, you're paying, for the most part in Austin right now on the market, you're paying top dollar.
Same with single-family rentals.
It's a little bit different. I mean, it really is. I look at it all the time, and you've got a duplex. Duplexes are $360,000 for $2,700 rents. Just the price to rent ratio, that alone is off on single family.
It depends, man.
Obviously, that's what I'm saying, is there's deals that fall through. Like, you can find value.
I looked at every comp for every duplex sold in Round Rock in the last 700 days yesterday, and we bought one of the cheapest ones. We wholesaled one of the cheapest ones, $240,000.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree, and I guess and probably wrongfully so, but when I'm talking about multifamily, I'm really thinking about above fourplexes.
Yeah,
I think of
5+.
Yeah, I think of duplexes and fourplexes and single family kind of in the same category. And then in our market, I don't think I've ever seen, maybe once, but you don't see 5plexes, 6plexes, 8plexes. There's some, but it really jumps up to 20s.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of 10s, 12s.
They're out there.
South Austin and, up where near 35 and 183 on the west side, there's some 8plexes and sure, but that's when, so we're diving deep into this debate here, but that's when you go and find somebody to help take that down with you, right?
Right. True. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. You can always get creative, and that's why I don't like to have a ton of general rules. I also don't like when people are like, what do you think about this area or this area, when I know their strategy, and it's like, who cares about the area? Like, let's just go find the opportunity and look at the numbers, and that's just me in this market, like Austin, MSA, comparing Pflugerville to Kyle to Round Rock to Cedar Park. It's like, yeah, we can talk about some differences, but they're all pretty similar in a lot of ways, and it's like, what's the specific opportunity that we're looking at? Let's talk about that versus just saying, let's do Round Rock over Cedar Park. So I like to just look at all of it and then find that opportunity within it.
Yeah, man. And again, it on that specific subject, it all depends on your goals. And
sure.
For me, I just don't really see the point in buying any more single-family rentals. I want to get rid of them all. And that may change too. Right now we're talking about multifamily, 5 units plus, but
sure.
When we close on this mobile home park, I may say I don't want to buy any more single family or multifamily. I just want to buy, mobile home parks.
Sure. I guess that's the difference, and it's not like one way is right or wrong, but I want to buy everything depending on the numbers. I don't care if it's single family home, mobile home, self-storage. And I know you probably agree with that. For the most part.
Well, and that's why I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
It is about the numbers.
Yeah. Being open to adjusting.
Generally speaking, depending on how it's being managed, how you buy it, and how you're operating the asset, commercial multifamily is going to perform way better than a single family home. Generally speaking. In Austin, Texas, and, wherever you're at. I mean, because if we're talking about buying at market value, what's the median or the average home price in Austin, Texas? $330?
Yeah, $350, $330.
$350. So what's rent? $1,800, $2,200?
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's $330,000 a door.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at one apartment complex, 20 unit, 100 unit, 10 unit, 8 unit that's selling for $330,000 a door.
Yeah, it's true. But so if you go buy a single family home, you can a lot of times get 20, 40, 50,000 in equity on the purchase, right? So if you're coming to the table with $30,000 to buy the property, and then you get $30,000 equity, well, you just literally doubled your money. Essentially, you got $60,000 now.
How much?
Apartments, you're going to come to the table with $250,000 in equity, and then you're going to also spend $200,000 on the apartment to get it to be worth that. So it's a scaling thing of like, to me, it's you step up. And yeah, you can go get partners. I'm not saying that's wrong at all. But for me and for people that are getting started, like I see how it works. You go just trade up. And I also know a lot of people that own a lot of apartments that did the exact same thing. And they didn't have to bring on partners to do their multifamily. They just had to take it a little bit slower.
Sure, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy a single family rental.
No, I know. There's no right. I'm not trying to say you're right or wrong. This is important to throw everything out there.
It's
for
exactly
people to see mindsets.
What you're talking about is exactly what we did. And now that we're at this spot, me personally, I just don't want to go back and buy any more single family rentals.
Sure.
It would depend on the numbers.
Good thing we're keeping our LLC, Andrew. Buy some more single family. I don't think you're wrong by any means. It's great. I think it's great to zone in and only do multi.
I mean, if you look at the numbers too on the 8-plex that we bought, including closing costs and everything included, we put down, I believe, $121,000, and we walked into $200K in equity on the buy immediately without doing anything.
That's my favorite property I've ever bought. So I agree with you.
Now we're updating units. OC's getting these leased for $950.
Mm-hmm.
We're increasing the value. The value's increasing even more. So, you know.
Another thing, a big thing, kind of, it's related, but I heard it from Grant, and I don't usually listen to Grant, but I'm trying to be open-minded because he's obviously done a lot. But he was talking about having an exit strategy and being able to sell something, and that's huge because you can go buy properties that do well, but if it's not desirable to other people, it's really not worth a lot in some ways. And I'm like, that's so true. Like, you have to be able to have something that you can sell. Like our triplex, we have a triplex in Bartlett.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's good property, but that's not something we can just go sell.
No, and that's what he talks about is when he's walking properties, before looking at numbers or anything, what he's looking at is where is it located and does he love the property. So is it located where it's easily accessible? Is it located in Austin, Texas, Round Rock, Texas? Can you see it from the highway when you're driving? Does it look good from the outside? Is this going to be an asset that someone is going to...
Right, which is really, really wise. Mm-hmm. I like that. I took that away from there. Our Aplex might not even be easy to sell.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the ones we wholesaled, surprising to me, but, nobody was really jumping at that. As a matter of fact, someone didn't like it due to the fact that it had the mobile home park on the other half of the neighborhood, right? And that little neighborhood. But it's a great location. In terms of accessibility, mm-hmm. But it's in this hidden little neighborhood, right? That's full of 8-plexes, and that's full of, on one side, and the other half is mobile homes. So. Well,
let's step back a little bit. So, side note, one thing I think that's really cool, that's relevant to what we're talking about, is you and myself and even Andrew, like, we're all so different, and we don't have to agree on everything. Like, everyone has their own perspectives, and it's critical and important to show that to people because people may gravitate towards one mindset or another. We're a team. We work together, but we do things differently, and I think that's, like, really cool.
And back to the topic of this podcast.
That's what I was going to say is
that's why I said it all depends on your goals. And
sure.
So it depends on what you're trying to do, what best fits your situation, and what your goal is.
Yeah, that's the key is because we want to help people that are trying to get in it. There's a lot of people that we know that want to get in this business, and start with your goal. You're 100% right. And that's hard. Like, I didn't have a goal when I got started. So, my opinion is you start with the passion and what you want to do. What do you like doing? What do you want to just get after every day? Because my goal was just to own real estate. That's it. That's the only goal I had. I want to own real estate and be able to collect rent and go travel the world if I want to. Just have that flexibility and freedom. And some people want to do that, and for me, the best way that I saw that working out was to become an operator and to become a real estate agent and start showing people, learning it, helping people, seeing the market, and that's not the route that you took, and that worked for you. And so it's hard to give a clear path, but I try to just lay out every option. And so for me, is one option is to get your real estate license and start learning the business, help other people buy and sell, help other people lease, see properties, see what they sell for, see how investors grow, and make money. By doing that, you can make good money being a real estate agent. And then when you get some money, start investing it and start doing both of those at the same time. That is like what works for me, and that's what I see as the easiest route in some ways, because you're forcing yourself to get into it 100% of the time, versus if you have a full-time job and you think you want to get into real estate, but you're really putting in like an hour or two a day. To me, it doesn't. You can't do it that way. But everyone has their own strategy, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that have worked a full-time job and worked 2 hours and started syndicating deals, and now they own way more units than I do.
Any route, I don't think there's many excuses for not being able to make time for something that you're passionate about doing. And I will always use Doreen as an example for this, because I think she is the best example of this. Is someone who has a full-time nursing job. She's told me many different times about things that she's done to be able to achieve her real estate goals while working full-time as a nurse and having a family, taking care of kids, doing everything that's involved with that. Waking up at 4 a.m. just to get emails out, to get list skip trace, to get everything that she needs to be able to attack her real estate goals for that day. On her lunch break, eating a sandwich for 15 minutes, the other 45 minutes she's sending out texts and cold calling. Or on her lunch break, she takes a sandwich or whatever she eats for lunch, takes it with her to appointments to go show wholesale deals, or to go see properties, or to drive out to North Austin to look at maybe something she's trying to sub to. On her days off, she's taking her kids, she's driving around, she's going to check out properties in Waco, she's doing stuff here, she's doing stuff there. It's
committed.
It's commitment, right?
Yep.
And again,
I respect it too, and that's what it takes. That's I can't even explain to you, but that's what I've done for 10 years, and waking up at 2 a.m. and all. That's what it takes.
And again, depends on your goals, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If your goal is to buy one single family rental maybe every year, then it may not be required to do that. You can just have an agent go out and find properties for you, right? And you just make sure all the other stuff is taken care of. You have the finances, you have the lending, you have a property manager, and I think a lot of people like that route.
The 1 or 2 a year, have your team built, work your job. Yeah, I would almost think most people do, because not in a bad way, but that's the easy route. It's
maybe the easy route's doing nothing. So
yeah. I'm not. That's why I said not in a bad way. Is that that's a system that you just put in place. You find the right people, and you kind of sit back and be patient. If you're not trying to put in the time,
it depends on what type of person you are and what your goals are and your risk appetite. Because buying one single family rental a year may be the easy route for you and I. For that person, it's the right fit, and then for somebody else, that's crazy. Why would you buy a home, rent it out to tenants? You're opening yourself up to all this liability.
Sure.
You're much safer just putting your money in a CD and letting it sit there for 10 years and earn, 0.25% interest on it.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And yeah, that's why I try hard not to generalize, because they could also have a full-time job that they love, and they're doing very well at it, and they're super passionate, and they could be changing the world in some aspects. So there's nothing wrong with that by any means.
I will say this though, in terms of getting started, I believe that there's no excuse for not taking advantage of all of the free resources available to you.
Yeah. 100%.
Whatever your goal is, the information is out there, and you can learn it. and you can walk through it, and you can find people to help you, and utilize the free resources around you to be able to achieve whatever your goal is.
Right.
If it's one single family rental a year, if it is 10 units a year, if it's 100 units a year, if it's syndicating 5, 250 unit apartment complexes, the information and the resources are available.
Right. 100%. And we have a ton of them. We're happy to provide them. And there's thousands of other ones all over.
Mm-hmm.
We utilize them ourselves as much as we can. I try to, half the time I'm bringing up thoughts is I'm thinking through it and learning. I'm always trying to learn and keep an open mind. And sometimes I play devil's advocate on some of my thoughts just to hear yours or other people's thoughts. And it helps me kind of see both sides. And I do that with my brother all the time. He's like, I think you're just messing with me. And subconsciously, I'm just really trying to just learn.
Yeah.
It's good to have the conversations and the debates, and just want to, we just really care about this, and we want to just keep putting stuff out there. And if people want to get there, we want to help them any way we can. And we're on our own journey trying to get there. And, I always fall back on we're in such a good market, obviously, but that's what makes me want to work even harder because we're just in a unique spot, and we have this opportunity, and we see it. And we also see that if we put in the work and the time with a long-term mindset, like we see where it can go.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And so to kind of touch up on things you can do to get started, because I want to, if that was the topic.
It is, but, we talk about anything.
Sure, but I want to give them something for people
absolutely.
who are trying to get
Absolutely.
started. I think the first thing you need to do is you need to define your goals and define what's important to you, define what your risk appetite is, define how deep you want to go into this real estate journey. Start there. Second, I would say start learning and devote time and get committed to learning about how to achieve your goals. Come up with a plan of action. If it's one single family rental a year, maybe start looking in your local area or where you're looking to invest, and see if you can find a real estate agent who specializes in finding single family rentals for investors or whatever you're trying to do, and learn. I would say never stop learning about how to get there. And after you do your first one, learn what you did wrong, what you could have done better, how you could have looked for the deal better. Maybe you need a different property management company. Maybe you should have gotten a different loan. Maybe you should have screened tenants differently. Never stop learning about how to be better. Utilize the free resources, and utilize us. Reach out to us. We're here to help, and just get started. Whatever your goal is, whatever your plan of action is, whatever you're trying to achieve, take that first step, and don't get caught in the fear that prevents a lot of people from taking that first step.
Mm-hmm. All right. To add to that, I would say to, just on a little different level is to network with people, meet people that are doing similar things, learn what they're doing, provide real value for them, constantly stay in touch, and just constantly think long term and collect no's. Go hear the word no 100 times. That's, some of these things are so simple, but they're real.
Mm-hmm.
Really, anything you want to do. I can't really think of much if I'm sure there's a lot of, little things, but if you wanted to do something and you said, I'm going to go hear the word no 100 times, I can't see how you can't lead to some serious success by actually doing that.
Whatever it is, yeah. I agree with the simple things. I think it is that 20%, right? I can't think of much things that I do on a daily basis that are extremely complicated.
True.
It's more about just doing it.
Yeah, and I've said this before, the staying power, I fall back on that, having the ability to stay in the business. That's why I like the get your license route. There's always something new. There's always a new opportunity. We found this duplex, and we could find something else. So you just never know, but you got to be in the game. And the longer you can stay in it, the more of those you'll see and the more you can capture.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be big. They can be huge. This is one business where you could go become a millionaire in 1 year. If you really, really committed, 24 hours a day, you could go find properties with $200,000, $300,000 equity, flip them, do it again. You can change your life so quickly.
Creating a personal financial statement yesterday for Joseph, and looking at how much equity we have in all those properties, and it's
I like to just work my ass off and go look at that every couple of years.
Well, and that happened in 18 months, right?
Yeah.
And so it's very easy to have these things compound, and but to me, again, the most important thing is getting started. Had I not taken that leap and walked through that fear of buying that first single family rental with you, I wouldn't, if I would have just said no, maybe whatever.
Sure.
We wouldn't be here today. And, our goal was to get one a year, or something like that. It wasn't to go out but it started compounding, right? It was like, let's get another one in the next 6 months. And then next thing we knew, we bought 11 more.
I know, that happened quickly.
So it happens fast. And once you get that momentum going, it's just keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And capitalizing on it, because once you buy 11, now you can go buy 20.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go buy 40.
Yeah. And it just keeps compounding, and it grows exponentially.
Well, those are good points. I think I agree, and hopefully this is valuable. We want to constantly be a resource. We want to help people get there. Please reach out. We're here to help. Austin, Texas, we're easy to get a hold of. We're happy to help anywhere in the country. A lot of these things we talked to people the other day is the markets are different, but the same numbers and the same concepts very much apply to everything. There's going to be little intricacies, but we're happy to help, happy to dive in and just be a resource, and always looking for new people to join the team, always looking for new potential partners, and we'll just keep pushing forward.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you, guys. You got anything else?
Nope. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, share it with anyone you think would find it beneficial. And if you are looking to get started in real estate, get started, in my words. Go meet some people in Matt's. Go learn. Take advantage of the free resources out there that are available to you, and reach out to us if we can help in any way.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Appreciate you tuning in.